Hi everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel Night Technologies. Welcome back to our HTML full course series. So in today's video, I'll be talking about the HTML forms part 2. In our former video, we talked about HTML forms where we succeeded in knowing, we succeeded in talking about input HTML form elements. Especially, we talked about the different input types we have. But we just mentioned but few in our previous video. But in today's video, we are going to go more deep. In today's video, we are going to look at the select HTML form element, the option HTML form element, the button form element. We'll be looking at the text area element and the rest of them. So let's start. Maybe let's start with the select form element. For example, you are filling a form and you are prompted to select your state. Maybe you are filling a registration form and you are prompted to select your state from drop down. Okay, so that when you select your state, you can just continue filling the form. Maybe the state is an option, like they give the state as options in a drop down. So if you want to achieve this kind of thing in a form, how do you think you would do that? You will do that with the help of what? Select form element and the option form element. So let me show you how it works. The option element is nested. The option element is nested inside the select element. Okay, inside the select form element, the option element. So the option form element is nested inside the select form element, which means the option element is being housed, like is being found inside the word select of the select form element. So let me proceed and show you how it works. The first thing we need to do whenever we try to create a HTML form is we need to call our word form element. And our form element comes with an opening tag and a closing tag, and it has a content that goes in between it, right? So we say form. So once you close, you will now see that it brings a closing tag. So the next thing we are going to do is to add our label. Okay, our label will now be state of origin. Okay, state of origin. So the next thing we need to have is to have our input. Sorry, we need to have a select form element. It goes like it is also have a what? Opening tag and closing tag. Okay, and must have a content that goes in between the both tags. Okay, so the next thing I'll do is to call the option, and I say option, and this option will have a value attribute, but the value of the value attribute will be empty for the first one, because this one will not be select state, something like that. Select state, okay, something like this. So the next one will now be option. Let's say we'll be using for state value. The first state is Abia, okay. So we add Abia. Why are we adding value to this? Meaning that when we are processing, the preprocessor that is going to handle the form processing, sorry, will be able to what? Get the values of this value attribute, okay, and help you to once it gets the values. How will it get the value of this element? It get the value with the help of the value attribute, and once it captures this value, what again is it going to do? It has to now send it to the server for further processing. And also remember, this select we have a name attribute, okay, because that's where we capture what is in the select, but inside the select we capture what option are we going to capture. That's the help of the word value attribute, but the help of the name attribute is just to select the whole container. But inside the whole container, what option are we selecting? We are selecting the one, each of one of the option. Okay, we not select two at the same time. Although there is possibility to select more than two options at the same time, but we now be using an attribute known as multiple. That one will come later, but let's concentrate on this one now. So we say select and date. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, so we proceed. We add another option. That's a value, Ebony. Okay, that's the option value, Enugu. The option value, Anambra. Okay, so we save. So let's just check out how this thing looks like. Let's see how it looks like. So we copy parts after saving with Control X. We paste on the what address bar for web browser. So that's how the was select option looks like. It comes like you can see it comes like a drop down. So by default it's selected which has no value. The other ones that has value is the number of states you added. The Abia has value. When storing to store the value of Abia. When storing for Ebony, store the value of Ebony and the rest of them. Okay. So let's look at how we can be able to select more than one option here. Okay, how are we going to select more than one option? So we then say we come to the select element. In the opening tag of the select element, we add rows. So how many do we want to display first? We need to display only three. Like for example, what I mean by displaying only three is once I launches the I launches the form, like I open the form, the first that means with the help of the rows three, making the rows three, meaning that it's just first three rows we show. Not that other ones won't show, but by default, the first three rows will show. So if you want to see other ones, you have to scroll down. So that's the thing. So we add multiple. Multiple allows us to select multiple options from the select element. Okay. So we'll refresh to see how it works. Wow. So you can see it. You can see it, right? Can see by default it gives you only three options one, two, three. Okay. Celeste is not among, okay, because it has no value. But it's showing the one that has value, like Habia, Ebonya, Enugu. So if you want to see the other options, you have to scroll down to see the other options. So that's just the way it works. So let's look at the the button elements, HTML form elements. Okay. So how does the button element goes? The button element has is comes of button type. It comes of three button type. We have the word type button. We have the type submit and type reset. Okay. So I will be explaining the type button is just helps you to create a button that is not clickable by default. It's not clickable. Or if you want to make it to work, maybe you are working with a preprocessor like PHP. If you want to make your type button to work, you now have to use what? Your server request method instead of using the set. But if you want your submit to work, you now use set. So the reset button now is used for what? Returning the values of the what form in its default state. It returns the values of the form in its default state. Maybe the default state of the form is that all of the fields are empty. So once you click the button reset, it returns the value of the form. So let's see how it goes. Now it's a button, type, button. Now it's a click me. Okay. So the next one will be button type, type, reset, sorry, submit. And say submit. Last one will be button type, reset, and the words reset. Okay. So let's add one field and see how it works. So let's add a field with our line break BR. When I say label, label will be say email. Okay. Let's just add field email. Say input type, email, I'll give it a name attribute. You know what the name attribute does from our first HTML form video. Okay. So if you want to know more about that, watch our first form video. Okay. So name, I say email. So I close and add a line break PR. I save. So let me just see how these things work. So I refresh. So wow, that's a form. So I can add my email and select maybe three option here with the help of my control key. Okay, I have to hold down my control key on my keyboard. So once I select this option, maybe I want to return this form to its original state. What do I have to do? I have to go and click reset. It first the form to what is original state. So submit is just to submit the form, and click me is just like your normal button. Okay, so that's just the thing. So let's look at the what text area. What does the text area does and how does it work? The text area is just also an input type, but it's just an HTML element on its own. It helps you to create what kind of input for text that span multiple lines, text that runs through multiple lines. It now help you to what create an input for that kind of text. So how do you write your text area? You now say label, can say something like message. Maybe you are creating a contact form, okay, or a comment form. The place that the person will now use to write message, the portion for writing message or the field for writing message is normally used. Sorry, text area is normally used to create that particular field for writing what message. So how do we create to add a label message? So the next thing are we going to do there is next thing we are going to do that is what we now have to call our text area. Okay, remember it has the opening and closing tag and call our text area. So that's the closing tag. But you don't have to write anything in between the tag because it doesn't work like that. Okay. So the next thing you are going to do is to add a name attribute. You can say MSG, that's your message. You now add rows. The how many number of rows you want it to span, you can say 20. So columns, you can add columns, that's cost to it. You can just say the column should be 10. Okay, so you save. So you're fresh to see how this looks. Wow. So this is how it looks. The rows is 20, the column is 10. So you can actually make the both to be the same 2020. See how it looks. And adjust it to 2020. So refresh. Wow. So that's just how our what text area looks. So you can be able to type multiple things. You can see how I'm typing multiple things. I just see I'm typing multiple things inside the word text area input. So that's just how it works. So let's look at the other input type we have. We have input type number. Okay. So let's see how this input type number works. Let's say, for example, we want to add uh, amount. You can say label amount. So input type number stores whole numbers. Okay. You can say input type number, give it a name attribute amount. Okay, so when you save, so that's how it looks like, right? You can run from here and increase. You can equally type any amount you want. So for example, you are working with a form that requires you adding amount, and the amount must range from a certain figure, sorry, a certain digit to another digit. Let's say the amount you want it to range from 100 to maybe 10,000. How do you do that? There are two attributes you use to do that that works with the input form element. So the attributes are we have the max and min. So the min comes first. Min will be 100. Then max will be 10,000. Okay. So let's check whether is correct. So you refresh your form first. Okay. Come to this place. You first of all go to get the maximum by clicking this down arrow. Okay. So you can see the minimum. The minimum is 100. Sorry, we are trying to get the minimum is 100. So once we click up, you keep on increasing. So for example, you add something like uh, you add something like maybe uh, 20,000. Let's see what it says. You can click submit. It will tell you that what value must be less than or equal to 10,000. Okay, meaning that the maximum is 10,000. So that's how it works. So for example, you add something like 50. It tells you what value must be greater than or equal to 100, meaning that the minimum value is 100. So that's just how the thing works. Okay, so let's try to create a step to it to make it, maybe you have a figure that is 10 nine, 100 naira, maybe 50 kobo. You have some kind of figure like that. Okay, you want to add it, so you need to add another attribute known as step. You can say step to be 0.00, something like this, to step it to 0.00. So we refresh. So you will notice that it's okay, it's not okay. So let's change from 0.00 to 0.1. Let's see what happens. Okay, so refresh. Wow, I see it's working. Wow, that's very good. So, for example, we have 100 naira, 50 kobo. That is how we are going to what increase it. You can see, you can keep on increasing. So you can come here, and since the point is already there, you can add your was 50 kobo and proceed. Okay. So that's just how it works. Why is just showing like this? Because we didn't add. Why is it showing the variables? Is because we didn't add our method form submission method. We didn't add it. By default is get. Okay. By default form submission method is get. So you now have to specify whether you are going to use post method or get method. So that's just the thing. So let's look at the next input type. We have an input type date. Okay. Have input type date. So we can add let's say label DOB. That's date of birth, for example. Okay. I say input type date. It's just name DOB. With this input type, okay, you can be able to display date. Okay, so it comes with a date picker. It comes with a date picker. Depending the browser you are using, it comes with a date picker. So let's see whether this one comes with a date picker. We'll refresh. Okay. Wow, that's the date pick over there. So when you click and select 24th of March, see how it works. So we have another input type known as month. So let's check how input type month work. You can say label month. I say input type month. Okay. I say month of birth MOB. Okay. So that's just the thing. So we refresh. So wow. So when we click on the date speaker, come presents the year and the month for us. So we can just select the current month we have by clicking this month. So it autofills with what? March 2024. So that's just how it works. Okay. So the next thing, let's look at the next input type we have. We have the input type known as date time local that presents you with your local time empty. You will not be able to fill it with your current any current time and date. Okay. So let's say date time, and then say input type date time local. Okay. So let's see how this one work. We'll refresh. Wow. So you select the date picker. So it comes with the date. okay, and the time. So let's say it's today and time should be 12:18 p.m. Okay, wow, that's the time. Okay, so that's the input time we have. Okay, so there is another thing you need to know. For example, you are creating a form and you want the form to be non-editable. Okay, you want a particular input type to be non-editable. Okay, there is an attribute you use known as read only. Okay, so for example, the value, add a value using the value attribute, have a value to this our months and say 100. Okay, and we want it not to be non-editable. You are going to add an attribute known as read only. So you should just read only but don't edit. Okay, so when we refresh, you notice it cannot be edited. So if you want to delete it, it can work. So that's just the thing. So another thing is when you are working with kind of a particular input type that you want, or you want to make it a must to for users to fill it before they can proceed. So you have to just come and add an attribute known as required. Okay. So maybe your email, you want the email to user to fill it, not to escape it. You just want add required. That's the attribute you use. Okay. Required. Add. So that's just how it works. So that's all for now. So thank you so much for your time. Find this content useful, please do like, subscribe, and also drop your comment in the comment section after watching the video. If you want more advanced class, advanced video on this, please drop your comment on the comment section. And also try to follow us on our social media platform and also visit our website www.ed9technologies.com. Remember to turn on your notification bell to know when we post some useful content you might be interested to watch. Thank you so much. See you in our next video. We'll be talking about